Tesla is having a pretty terrible run lately. If you haven't noticed, Tesla's lost a quarter of its value in a month.
Well, you bet. This is extraordinary news. Tesla has just done their sixth price decrease of the year. They're triggering a global price war. And why not? They're uniquely positioned to win the price war because they've got 13% net margins versus Toyota at 7, Ford at 2. No one else can keep up. They're doing a global land grab because they can. This is just terrible news for Toyota, GM, Ford, and the others, but it's great news for consumers. Tesla deployed 3.7 gigawatts of energy storage in Q2. That's enough to power all the homes in Chicago and Los Angeles. Their mega pack batteries combined with their Autobiddo software enables them to provide turnkey solutions. Tesla is quietly becoming a global utility. Their energy division may be their secret weapon.
In this video, Tesla stock surges higher today for one reason: the collective buying and selling activity of all participants in the stock market on Tesla stock. And if anyone tries to rationalize or explain exactly why Tesla stock went up a lot today for any reason other than the collective buying and selling activities of all participants on Tesla stock, they're full of shit. Unless they tell you the chart told them it would happen, because technical analysis makes sense. Plus, we talk about Tesla's secret weapon. And if you guys would like to support the channel and unlock a load of exclusive content, check the links in the pinned comment.
Tesla is having a pretty terrible run lately. If you haven't noticed, Tesla's lost a quarter of its value in a month.
Don't you hate when you speak too soon? Along with many tech stocks, Tesla rebounded 7.33% today. Over the past 1 month, down just over 14%, if we want to be pedantic about it, from the peak a little over a month ago until today, down just over 21%. Tesla stock continues to remain as volatile as your ex-girlfriend. 52-week high, over $300. 52-week low, just over $100. It's rarely a dull moment. Year to date, Tesla stock's still up over 100%. Yep, over the last 12 months, down 20%.
That is a $246 billion drop. What in the world is going on with Tesla? Joining us now is RBC Capital Markets Global Autos Analyst Tom Narayan. Tom, good to have you on last call. What is going on with Tesla?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to keep in mind when it comes to Tesla, these types of moves are kind of par for the course, right? It was $1 trillion market cap after the pandemic. Then it pulled back to about $300 billion after the whole Twitter saga. Then it rallied up to $900 billion with the big 2Q delivery number. Now it's pulled back to around $600 billion. It's still $600 billion plus market cap. Let's not forget that. But the reason why it's pulled back really, it's a couple of things. One is we heard from the 2Q call that there are going to be some pullbacks in production in the third quarter. They wouldn't hit their above 1.8 million vehicle target delivery for 2023 for the Model 3 and the Model Y. I think some folks expect them to beat that. We also obviously saw the CFO departure. I think folks wanted to understand that a little better. And then now you also have that all coupled in with the China price cuts.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a confluence of things all happening at the same time.
Yeah, talk to us a little more about China and how much it matters, because China's economy, the little information we now get out of China, looks like they're on the precipice of a major slowdown.
Yeah, I mean, it's a third of deliveries here for Tesla. So it's a very important market. There were sizable cuts there. But if you look at the market share that Tesla has in China, it actually hasn't lost that much market share. It's around 8% market share. If you look at a company like VW, it's lost way more market share. It's only about 4% for EVs when it was about 20% for ICEs. So, it is something that definitely folks should monitor. It's definitely a concern. But remember, Shanghai is Tesla's most lowest cost plant. It still can afford to cut prices there to keep the market share and not sacrifice on profitability.
This is true and extremely important. Tesla's Shanghai plant is a money printer. It's extremely profitable for a couple of reasons. One, versus the Fremont cluster of clusterfucks where Tesla bought an existing factory and have tried to do their best with the existing footprint that they didn't design from scratch. Shanghai was a clean slate design. It's much more efficient. Plus, many things in China are a little bit more economical, including labor. It's much cheaper for Tesla to produce vehicles at Shanghai for those two key reasons. It's a more efficient factory design and much lower labor costs, and a few other things are a little bit cheaper as well. Exactly how much cheaper? Well, let's head over to the Tesla China website. Model 3 rear-wheel drive, 231,900 yuan. What does that equal in US dollars? Just over 32,000. Model Y rear-wheel drive, 263,900 yuan. In US dollars, just under $37,000. And Tesla is not giving these vehicles away. These are with very healthy, once again, industry-leading profit margins. Think about this for a moment. This isn't with an incentive. The fact that Tesla is able to sell the entry-level Model 3 for just over $30,000 equivalent in China just goes to show how economical their vehicles are to produce in said country. It's likely that Tesla's cost to produce this vehicle, give or take, is about $25,000 approximately. And these are the same vehicles that Tesla exports to parts of the world they're not producing vehicles locally, just about everywhere other than Europe and the United States.
Definitely something the whole industry is taking a look at, a slowing economy potentially there, demand issues there. But in the grand scheme of things, Tesla is a company that has managed this in the past.
Accurate. And again, despite the fact that this is about the worst time for the automotive market in the last 15 or so years, once again, Tesla's Shanghai plant is their main global export hub. They don't sell vehicles produced in China exclusively in China. They sell them just about everywhere outside of Europe and the United States as well. Their most profitable vehicles.
Tesla and the EV space. Joining me right now, Steve Wesley, founder, managing partner, the Wesley Group. Steve Wesley, I'm so glad you're here with us. I want to talk all about all the EVs that we're watching so closely. Of course, you're a former board member of Tesla. And once again, we saw Tesla cutting prices. I mean, I've heard Elon Musk say they can cut when they need to, but it seems that they're cutting periodically. What do you think is behind that, and where does it fit into the EV space?
Well, you bet. This is extraordinary news. Tesla has just done their sixth price decrease of the year. They're triggering a global price war. And why not? They're uniquely positioned to win the price war because they've got 13% net margins versus Toyota at 7, Ford at 2. No one else can keep up.
Steve is absolutely spot on. And when he says these companies can't keep up, he means that literally. We just heard Tesla net margin about double that of Toyota and about 7 times as much as Ford. And the margins that we've just heard from legacy automotive companies, Toyota and Ford, are as good as they're going to get until they eventually file for bankruptcy. In the case of Ford, probably. In the case of Toyota, most definitely. Why? Toyota still think at the end of this decade, 2/3 of the vehicles that they sell won't be electric. Eventually, when Toyota figures out that people don't want hydrogen vehicles, especially not in 2030, they don't want hybrid vehicles, and they certainly don't want internal combustion engine vehicles. Therefore, they won't be selling those 2/3 of the vehicles they expect in 2030. They're going to need to start accelerating and increasing their investment in electric vehicles. As they do this, their profitability is going to collapse. They need to spend a ton of money investing in electric vehicles. At the same time this happens, they're going to see sales of their ICE vehicles collapse and go from profitable to slightly profitable to unprofitable to losing a bit of money to losing so much money. They're like, wait, why the are we even still making these things? Let's just stop and focus on EVs. And then eventually they go bankrupt. The same is true for all legacy automotive companies. None of them are moving fast enough towards electric vehicles. All of them are going to see mounting losses for years to come. Most of them will eventually end up losing so much money, they eventually go bankrupt before they can scale their EV production to sufficient levels to start making any money and survive. So to Steve's point, he does mean this literally. Tesla is dictating terms as far as pricing goes in the automotive industry. If you want to keep selling vehicles, you will need to compete with Tesla on cost and roughly on performance, features, and functionality. The problem is, Tesla's still making industry-leading profit margins. Outside of China, no one's even making money selling EVs. And the money they are making from their ICE vehicles is going away within the next few years. In other words, they literally can't keep up. And if they can't keep up, they won't be in business later this decade. So rest in peace, everyone other than Tesla and some Chinese EV makers.
They're doing a global land grab because they can. And I think what's interesting for investors is this is just terrible news for Toyota, GM, Ford, and the others, but it's great news for consumers. EV costs are coming down a lot, and they're soon, probably by late next year, 2025, going to cost less than gas cars. The whole world is going electric.
This is accurate. We already know that in the United States, you can now buy a Model Y for less than the average new vehicle. So Tesla's already reached and surpassed price parity with ICE vehicles. Other companies a few years behind, but eventually they'll get there. And EV costs won't stay still at that point. They'll keep coming down significantly. Once again, Tesla unveiled plans to halve the cost of a compelling electric vehicle early this year. Those products will be rolling off production lines a couple of years from now. Consumers will most certainly win, better and cheaper. That's what electric vehicles are and will continue to be in the future. And there's no end in sight to the cost declines, unlike ICE vehicles, which are already a mature technology. So consumers win, Tesla wins. Companies that aren't Tesla, not so much.
Right, understood. In the meantime, I was reading in Barron's over the weekend, and they were talking about the competition in the space and actually noting that BYD has been taking market share and actually at 37 to the tune of about 37%, 4 times Tesla, leaving competitors like Li Auto, XPeng, and NIO in the dust. Where do we stand? Are we worried about the competitive space for Tesla? Because everybody always says what a leader Tesla is.
Look, the whole world's going electric. Tesla's the king of the hill. They just delivered 466,000 cars in Q2, $25 billion, on track to do 2 million cars this year, $100 billion in revenue. The Model Y is the best-selling car in the world, and they're about to launch the Cybertruck. So this is good news for them. But if you look at the big picture, Tesla, 21% of global EV auto share, BYD at 16.7%. But rounding out the top 5, 2 other Chinese companies, GAC at 6%, Volkswagen at 4.7%, and SAIC. So 3 of the top 5 selling EV brands globally are Chinese. There's a changing of the guard here.
Yeah, take some water. There's so much going on. We had a great conversation with the chief financial officer of General Motors today. They're doing their push in EVs. There's concern about a strike by the UAW. They talked about how much inventory that they have to keep on hand in case of a strike. Where does that fit in for the Tesla picture? Could one man's problem be another man's win here? Where does that fit in here? And does Tesla have enough inventory?
I think Tesla will have inventory. Look, they've got 5 plants at full production now. They've just broken ground on another plant in Monterrey, Mexico. More coming. I think the big question when you step back and you look at BYD and say, wow, 352,000 cars they sold in Q2 to Tesla's 466. They're getting pretty close, but BYD is growing faster, 95% year over year. So keep an eye on the Chinese. The big question, if you step back and look at this, is will Americans and Europeans buy Chinese brands?
Many will. And here's my prediction. Since China bad, US good, at least if you live in the US, I think that per capita, Chinese EV companies will do better in Europe and other parts of the world than they do in the United States. But money talks. There's a lot of compelling, well-priced electric vehicles being produced in China. They'll begin invading other parts of the world, including the United States, very soon. They already are in other regions, and they're doing quite well. You don't need 100% of consumers to buy your product to sell plenty of products in a certain market. Doesn't mean all US consumers will be buying or willing to buy Chinese electric vehicles, but there'll be plenty of people who are. Need I remind you about the Japanese vehicle invasion in the 90s? If you studied history, Japan, and do you remember that whole thing? Yeah, people still ended up buying those vehicles. Maybe not your grandparents, but don't be surprised if roads everywhere, Europe, United States and elsewhere, begin to flood with Chinese electric vehicles in the coming years and the later part of this decade.
In general, but especially with IoT devices in every car, I think a lot of people are not going to feel comfortable with that. And the other big question is Tesla's lead in software that drops 99% profit margins to the bottom line going to outweigh China's big advantage in low-cost batteries? Those are the big questions. We'll see how it shakes out.
Yeah, understood. At this point, what are some of the things that, when we think about Tesla, we think about AI, we think about batteries. When people, obviously the Cybertruck's coming, and I do want to talk about that. But what is Tesla, even software services? When you think about Tesla, what do you think is going to drive Tesla to the next, higher price point for shareholders? Because there's a lot of folks that are out there that think it's worth less than $100, and then you have those who are very positive on Tesla. Where do you think it's headed and why?
Look, I think it's going to go up. And what people need to understand is Tesla has 4 core advantages. One, they were one of the first to take battery production in-house. They have lower cost batteries than virtually anybody but the Chinese. Second, they've got an advantage in what's called over-the-air software. That gives them a big advantage. Third, they took their dealerships in-house. That gives them a big advantage over others years ago. And fourth, they've been a leader in the robotization of manufacturing. They will manufacture cars in a fraction of the time. They've got large stamping machines. They just have fewer parts in their vehicles. But if you step back a little bit and look to the not too distant future, Tesla's got this other huge advantage no one's talking about yet, but they will be soon. Tesla deployed 3.7 gigawatts of energy storage in Q2. That's enough to power all the homes in Chicago and Los Angeles. Their mega pack batteries combined with their Autobiddo software enables them to provide turnkey solutions. In a nutshell, Tesla is quietly becoming a global utility. Now,
He's right, in particular about the quietly becoming part. While investors are ignoring robo-taxis, whatever, many will regret that. So too are investors ignoring Tesla's burgeoning energy business. It is a sleeping giant. As Steve just pointed out, that's news to me. I hadn't done the math on it, but I guess Steve did. He just said, in Q2 alone, in terms of Tesla energy deployments, they deployed enough stationary storage to power all of the homes in Los Angeles. I wonder if that includes the fentanyl tents. I'm assuming it does. And Chicago in a single quarter. That really puts things in perspective. Tesla certainly is quietly becoming a huge utility. Don't sleep on Tesla Energy. Remember, Elon Musk's on the record. He says over the long term, Tesla Energy could grow to be the same size or even larger than Tesla's automotive business, not including the software components, of course. In other words, Tesla Energy is a gigantic opportunity. Don't sleep on it. If you guys are curious, I do have some assumptions for Tesla Energy growth over the next decade, available exclusively on Patreon in my Tesla valuation model, available to supporters at the investor level and above. Click the link in the pinned comment if you'd like access.
Q2 energy revenues were only, and I say only lightly, 1.5 billion, 6% of total revenue, but they're growing 222% a year. If they can keep up and expand their energy business for another year or two like this, their energy division may be their secret weapon.
Oh, okay. Steve Wesley, thank you for that, of the Wesley Group. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Steve. Great to see you. Love having you on the show, always.
So to recap, Tesla stock surging more than 7% today. Why? Simply because of the collective buying and selling activity of all participants in the stock market on Tesla stock. That's how it works. Don't listen to anyone who tells you otherwise. As Steve Wesley points out, Tesla's energy business truly is a sleeping giant, and Tesla continues their ferocious land grab in the EV price war. This is great news for Tesla. Unfortunately, all of the so-called competition is literally financially incapable of keeping pace. I think this only ends one way. Most automotive companies are soon to have their Kodak moment. Athletic Greens AG1 has given me a massive, meaningful boost in energy, allowing me to do a lot more every day, including using my brain more and using my body more. I highly recommend you guys and girls check it out. Athletic Greens AG1 is an excellent way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's got 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus prebiotics and probiotics and digestive enzymes and adaptogens to help you deal with stress. Plus, if you click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR, you can get yourself a 1-year free supply of vitamin D3 and K2. But don't take my word for it. Here's what some of you guys and girls have to say. AG1 has changed my life. I was, as you described, treating myself like a circus, ate like trash, rarely exercised, used alcohol as a stress crutch, cannabis also. AG1 is what gave me the kick in the ass, got me back to the gym, motivated me to do more for myself, family, my business, etc. Keep doing what you do. Now, I know there's some skeptics, the same kind of people who think Elon Musk is a fraud, reading this going, what do you thought? There's no way that's possible, bro. It must be a placebo effect. Believe it or not, this is a recurring theme. If you give your body everything it needs to feel and perform its best, including having a lot more energy, you'll need ways to use that energy. For me personally, that includes more exercise, moving my body more social activity, and more cognitively demanding tasks, including producing a ton of exclusive content over on Twitter and on Patreon, plus my daily YouTube uploads. The proof's in the pudding. On to another testimonial from a viewer of this channel. SMR, you asked me to provide feedback on AG1. Here it is. It has helped with mental acuity, stamina, and intestinal waste management. Can't read between the lines. It certainly helps with regularity and digestion. That's what the digestive enzymes are for. It has also dramatically reduced my cravings for sugar. You guys need to stop eating sugar. It's fucking poison. I'm 50, 5'9", and overweight, aka a fat motherfucker. I think that's a technical term for overweight, isn't it? Is it fat motherfucker or obese? I can't remember. I average 100 hours a week in the West Texas oil fields as a safety supervisor. Jesus Christ, dude. No wonder you're struggling to keep your weight under control. 100 hours a week. Brutal. It has helped me lose weight. It is not an appetite suppressant. It can help fat people suppress cravings, and motivation to be healthier is critical for changing your diet. Love you, brother. Again, this is a great point and something people really don't seem to grasp. If you have more energy, everything becomes easier. It's like turning on easy mode for life. A few years ago, before I was taking AG1, my health was trash. I was struggling to get through the day, had afternoon fatigue. The last thing I wanted to do was either use my brain or move my body. Didn't have the energy. Now, my biggest struggle every day is figuring out ways to use that energy. I'm exercising way more, doing a lot more with my friends and family, and of course, my work output has increased substantially. And you can fact check me. Check out the average length of my videos I was posting to YouTube 3 years ago. Need I say more? And one final testimonial, love this one. Okay, here's the deal for me with this AG1 shit. I'm 41 years old and not the type to eat, drink, smoke, or sleep healthy, so I was skeptical. That being said, here's what I experienced. Day 1, meh. Day 2, afternoon fatigue was about 45 minutes late. Day 3, 0 afternoon fatigue. Day 4, 0 afternoon fatigue plus extra energy. Day 5, again, 0 afternoon fatigue plus energy, wondering, what the fuck, really? See, this is the thing, right? The results for many people are just almost too good to be true. This is the same experience I had. My afternoon fatigue just vanished out of nowhere. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Why am I not tired in the afternoons anymore? Surely, it's not that AG1, is it? Turns out it was. Day 6 and 7, same thing. Day 8, same thing. Plus, I had the want to get things done around the house that I normally would slack off and not get done. Again, the point, extra energy, you'll need to use it, you'll find ways to use it. Day 9, 10, and 11, and today is day 12. I fucking love it. So however you managed to get me to buy it, I'm so glad you did. Thank you so much, SMR. It really changed me so far. Guys, this shit really works. Just try it. By the way, this is the reason I continue to relentlessly promote AG1. A lot of people get real fucking mad in the comments. Oh my God, Snake Oil Salmon's sold out. Oh my God, he's a scammer. This is fraud. But constantly, I'm pretty sure everyone making these comments is also currently short Tesla stock. I'm not particularly concerned about people having a negative perception, those folks suffering from small brain syndrome, still living in my bum's basement syndrome, etc., writing mean comments, claiming AG1's a scam or it doesn't work. I mean, bro, when I get feedback like this is what keeps me going. And remember, there is a 90-day money-back guarantee. There's nothing to lose here. Just try this stuff for a month, and if you don't get these results, get your money back. See, it's a literal no-brainer. It's an IQ test at this point in time. Testimonial after testimonial after testimonial like this. Get your money back if it doesn't work. Just try it for a month, and if it doesn't work, get your money back. Today's the day. It's finally time. Be like this guy who was a massive skeptic, but finally, after 1,000 promotions in a row, caved in, tried AG1, and has results like this. Head to drinkag1.com/SMR or click the link at the pinned comment, and please, let me know how you're feeling in a few weeks' time. Now, if you'll excuse me, time to put my extra energy to good use. I'll be recording some more exclusive content for Patreon and my Twitter subscribers. So click the links in the pinned comment. See you over on Twitter and or Patreon. And don't forget to grab your AG1. Love ya.